So as many of you kindly let me know on every social media platform I'm on yesterday, in addition to trailer 2, we also got a trailer on the Brazilian Universal Pictures YouTube channel, which may as well be a third trailer because there's so much new footage in it. Well, today I'm going to analyze the shit out of that trailer because there is just so much stuff in it that I think is worth talking about. And if you want to see a great analytical video of the other trailer, go head over to my friends Slash and Cast because they put up a great video yesterday, and I think you should definitely check it out before I do mine tomorrow. I'm probably the only person who's going to focus on this shot, but the very first thing we see in the trailer is an aerial tracking shot of a car driving down a 2-lane road. And the thing I want to point out is that it looks like fall, which is awesome. As for whose car that is, I think it's Martin and Dana's car and that they're on their way to go interview Lori, and I don't think it's Lori's car because she has a pickup truck. We get this wide shot of Lori's house, which shows us that she doesn't actually live within Haddonfield and that she probably lives just outside the city in the woods. This is interesting to me because to attack Lori at her house, Michael would have to shift up his approach a little bit because he's not in the residential streets of Haddonfield anymore. He's in the wide open land of the woods. So in this shot, we get to see Lori's living room and part of her kitchen where she's cleaning the repeater on the counter. We get another look at her security system with all the monitors, and right next to it there's a radio that I bet she uses to scan for police frequencies. And finally, there's a pretty big pile of wood in the corner. I think it's also worth pointing out that she has a table, 2 locks, and a bar across the back kitchen door that also has a security gate on the other side of it, so that there's probably only one way into her house, and that's through the front door. Finally, there's a small model of a house on the table under her TV, and at first glance it kind of looked like the Myers house to me, but I don't think it is since there are 3 windows on the second floor. We get a slightly different version of Lori's target practice area. Now that we know she could possibly live outside of Haddonfield, we have a pretty solid explanation for how she's able to go in her backyard and start shooting a gun off every day. The fact that she has a bunch of mannequins to shoot out there is both creepy and interesting because unlike shooting a paper target, when you're shooting a mannequin, you're shooting a human body. So I think this could be a way for her to desensitize herself so that she doesn't hesitate to blow Michael's brains out with one of her many guns. We've known for months now that for the past 40 years, Lori has been training religiously to become the ultimate survivalist for if and when Michael breaks out of Smith's Grove. And I think the level of detail that went into designing her house is pretty mind-blowing. Once again, I think they should have gone with the subtitle of The Revenge of Laurie Strode for this movie because even if she goes down, she ain't going down without a fight. When Martin asks if after 40 years one monster has created another, that's very interesting because he seems to be coming at this documentary from the angle that maybe Laurie is the crazy one and Michael has been mislabeled as someone who enjoys killing rather than a mentally ill person who needs treatment and compassion. He could also be referring to the fact that Laurie's trauma and obsession with eventually killing Michael has cost her not only any sense of joy and happiness in her life, but also her marriage, her daughter, and even her granddaughter. Instead of seeing all of the masks from Halloween 3, we only get to see the skeleton and the pumpkin in this trailer, which makes it objectively worse than the US one. But I do appreciate the countless pumpkins on display in this trailer. Next, we get this weirdly placed shot of Lori without her glasses looking terrified, spinning around and slamming a button that brings down a sliding metal door to this empty room. That makes me think that the shot is taken from a part of the movie where Michael is in her house and she's trying to give herself some breathing room by trapping him behind the door. I love this sequence where we get to see what I think is the reunion between Lori and Allison. I would think that this is after the bus taking Michael to the maximum security prison crashes because that would give Lori a reason to head to Haddonfield and go warn Karen and Allison about Michael's escape. Jamie Lee Curtis looks unbelievably sad here, and we know it's because Karen doesn't believe in her fears related to Michael and she knows how much danger her and Allison are really in. I also love this shot of Smith's Grove since instead of being a mental hospital, it looks like a goddamn prison. That's a good way of establishing how Michael was prevented from escaping the past 40 years as easily as he was able to back in 1978. I love the effort that this movie seems to be putting into hiding Michael's face. We of course get to see it in the original movie when Tony Moran is unmasked, but showing his face is the difference between Michael and the Shape as he's credited in the original movie. This shows me that David Gordon Green understands Michael in a way that the other movies haven't over the past few years, and that he needs to make an effort to make Michael terrifying again by removing as much of the human element as possible. We see someone here standing in front of a bloody police officer, and I think this could be Hawkins since we see the silhouette of someone discovering the deserted crashed bus in the first trailer, and to me that silhouette looks nothing like Lori. We get to see Lori's gun locker in this trailer just like we do in the US one, but something weird I noticed is that the fourth gun from the left doesn't have the lightning bolt with the KS letters carved into it. I wonder if that was added in post and the people who cut this trailer didn't have access to the updated shot, but it's a weird difference nonetheless. Another shot we have from the US trailer is this one of Michael walking down the sidewalk after he kills Mrs. Elrod 2.0 in the one take I want to see so badly. It's mixed in this time with the footage of Allison walking down the street looking a little scared, but she has a different outfit on than when she was talking to Laurie earlier in the trailer, so maybe this is part of her Halloween costume and she's going to meet up with her friends that aren't babysitting. This shot is weird because it's a flipped version of the shot we see of Michael after he kills Mrs. Elrod 2.0 in the US trailer, but it starts off a little earlier and it doesn't have the yellow color grading that the US trailer features. Next up, we get even more footage of the scene where Vicky is definitely going to get killed in this movie. The kid she's babysitting says he saw someone in his doorway, and I'm sure she's gonna go in there, not find anyone, tell him to go to bed, and then she'll remember to check the closet and get killed like we see in trailer 1. This shot looks to me like Hawkins opening up the stall door in the rest stop where Martin and Dana are going to be killed, and the door is covered in blood, which is presumably from Martin's head being slammed on it repeatedly. It cuts to a shot of Laurie looking over some police tape at what I think is the coroner's van, and since it's during the day, this is probably the morning of Halloween. The next shot is a bunch of state police officers investigating the bus crash. I would assume that this is actually happening before the shot of Hawkins looking into the bathroom stall. That's because Hawkins is probably at the bus and Dana and Martin stop at the gas station on their way to the bus since they're making a documentary, and then that's where they get killed by Michael. This shot of who I assume is Michael reaching for his mask is really throwing me off for a few reasons. First, we see Michael obtain his mask during the day in trailer 1, and second, the blue lights make me think that the mask is in the back of a cop car. This shot of Allison crying makes me think that this is part of the scene where Michael kills Ray in the first trailer. I think Ray is either Allison's dad or her grandfather, and seeing him die would explain the tear. And later on, the trailer tries to trick you into thinking she's screaming get away at Michael, but I think this could be Hawkins since there's a police cruiser behind her and it doesn't really look like Michael to me. Also, this could be a scene where Hawkins dies because at the very end of the trailer, we see Allison in a police car with Michael grabbing at her. We also have this shot of Michael looking down at who I assume is Laurie from the top of the stairs to her bunker holding a fire poker. But whoever this is has a gun pointed at him, so it might not be Laurie since I think she would definitely shoot him the first chance she gets, since right after that we see her stab him in the back with his own weapon. And now you have my deep dive analysis of the International Halloween trailer. I hope that was enough for you guys. I am really excited about that trailer because it had so much new stuff in it. Anyways guys, let me know which trailer you like better down in the comments below. And as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next one. Thanks for watching.